Hello, this is Jerry Morton. Welcome to my Finding My Way podcast. This is podcast number 24, titled The New York City Guru. The New York City Guru is a story from my adult years. The collection of stories I have written and am reading to you cover many subcultures in our country that I have interacted with from childhood to my adult and senior years. A more extensive introduction to the Finding My Way stories takes place in the beginning of podcast 1. Regardless of which podcast you are listening to, you will find the story both entertaining and worthy of your reflective thoughts concerning its contents. The stories, as a collection, provide insights into a span of time that has played a role in shaping American culture and influencing its future. The stories provide you with a sense of admiration for the culture's collective courage and our country's commitment to justice and its optimistic willingness to address new challenges. The New York City Guru. The word on campus was that a guru was going to speak at the Catholic Student Center next Tuesday evening. I thought I might attend it. I had never heard a real guru speak about anything. Being a seeker, I wanted to learn if this was a direction of interest for me as I attempted to find the path for my own spiritual growth. I had been exploring the world of psychic phenomena since around 1971. By the early 1980s, I had learned that a lot of different groups in town were exploring this topic as well. Many of them were certain that they had found the one true way. I was not as confident of the accuracy of their beliefs as they were. Maybe that was my personal curse, to constantly be seeking but never finding the one true way. Madame Biosic, or Madame Someone, had her believers. She was around the early 1900s and had a large following. Apparently, she lost credibility when she was caught in a reportedly blatant hoax. Now, I'm not saying all of this is factual. It was just what I had picked up from some readings without researching the matter seriously. Anyway, a small group of seekers thought what had been recorded about her teachings was worthy of studying. It did not appear to be that way for me. Other groups abound that were focused on one teacher or another's thought system. There were the Harry Coronas or something like that. You could be approached by one or two of them walking across campus. The guys usually had their hair tied in ponytails, and the girls wore their long hair. Long flowing robes were the uniform of their sect. I must say they were attractive on the young women. The message of love they eagerly shared was accompanied by the music they played on simple instruments and a request for donations. Members of their group could often be found at airports. Somehow, they always appeared to be happy. One group called itself Gillicards. I'm not sure of that title, but it was something like that. They were heavy into a special kind of meditation. This group was somewhat secretive. I was told that there were different levels or orders within this group of meditators. That you weren't told much about the higher levels until you had mastered the level just below the one you had just mastered. The whole process sounded pretty complicated to me. I didn't have the time to try to progress from one level of meditation to another, although I had read about research reporting on the physical and psychological benefits of meditation. It was rumored that the highest level had been reached by the locally acknowledged leader of this group. I was told that it was whispered by some of the inner circle members that they had observed him levitate a few inches off of the floor during the meditations. That was a little hard for me to accept. What did I know? I had not invested the time to go through all of the steps of meditation necessary to see if I could levitate. Anyway, why would I want to levitate? The inner circle of the Gillicards was tight. They walked around campus as a collective group. The leader seemed constantly to be smiling, as if he were working hard to send love to all he saw, even if they were ignorantly rejecting that love through their lack of understanding the one true way. I kept my distance from that group. That is not to say that I wasn't interested in them. I just didn't want to become a part of it. Maybe I was just a fool. Who was to say that one way or the other way was the one true way without first experiencing the one true way? All I knew was that I was trying to be an open-minded seeker who hadn't found a home in which to anchor a belief system as of yet. A large gathering had filled the conference hall of the church for the guru's presentation. There may have been 100 or more students and citizens from the community seated in the two large sections of folding chairs. A small table sat in the front of the two sections, right in front of the aisle naturally created by the evenly divided sections. The crowd was in a buzz of anticipation. As I looked around, it became clear that many of the subgroups of seekers I had mentioned, plus several others, were in the audience. There were the Edgar Cayce people, the Madam people, a few semi-professional skeptics, and the inner circle of the Gillicards. The Gillicards even had their levitating leader in their midst. This guru must be something, I thought. In unison, the crowd seemed to know when to turn their heads to the back of the room. There he was. He was perfect. Well, he perfectly fit my concept of how a guru should look as he rushed down the aisle and climbed up on the low-sitting table to assume the standard guru sitting position. He was small in stature, had long, flowing black and gray hair that hung down below his shoulders, merging into his equally long, full beard that was also generously peppered with gray. His skin was a smoky brown color with lots of wrinkles in his facial features. To top it all off, he was wearing a long orange robe outfit that had artfully placed folds in it. Now, this had to be the real thing. From his cross-legged position, he began speaking. His voice was high-pitched with a predominant nasal twang that produced words in a rapid-fire spray with a slight British accent. This guy had to be the real thing. How happy it is to be in your city. I was so very happy. I mean, there are so many gurus sitting on the corners of busy streets in New York. With their prayer bowls in the front of them, they sent blessings to all they see, hoping for a few coins in the prayer bowl to sustain them for the next day. I mean, there I am, just one of many, many gurus on many street corners. Two people just walk up and ask if I want to come to Knoxville, Tennessee. They will pay my way and be my travel companions. What a surprise. I don't know where your city is, but yes, I want to come here. Here I am. This is so very wonderful. At this point, I'm thinking, lad, you've been had. It's okay. He's truly entertaining. Who knows what's coming next? I will give you the shortcut to reaching your God within. It is your breath. How you breathe in, how you breathe out. See, like this. He began to take a deep breath and then slowly let it out. As the air escaped from his mouth, he began to make a musical om sound that increased in richness and intensity the longer the air passed through his lips. That was a long time. He could have been a champion free-water deep diver. I was impressed. It was relaxing. He did it again, and then again several more times. I was captured by the gentle, calming sound. I was startled from my relaxed state by his rapid-fire speech as he said, "There, you see, it's in the vibrations of your entire body. They put you in harmony with your God's vibrations, your inner God. There you find the voice. There you go freely receive the guidance of your inner God, which is the God of all. Your inner God is the true God. You don't need to waste time, hours and hours meditating of thoughts, of philosophical discussions. Just breathe properly. I will teach you." From the mumbling of words within the Gilliard collection of followers, I sensed that they were rigorously rejecting these statements. The statements did not agree with the meditation process they were following. The guru proceeded to direct the group to breathe in deeply, hold the breath for a few seconds, and then to release the air flowing slowly, making the om sound, while releasing your mind to the vibrations. At first, the ohms were a ragged and rather feeble effort by the audience. The guru's bubbling enthusiasm never wavered. He instructed us on the posture for breathing, how to hold our heads correctly, along with other helpful hints. After 4 or 5 practice sessions, we began to sound pretty good. Actually, we began to become one voice under his happy coaching. It reminded me of the recordings of monastery chantings. This was the first time that I had ommed. I liked it. I was enjoying this. I was happy. The hour presentation passed quickly, remarkably fast. Having concluded the last practice session, he told us that when we did this each day, we would find that reaching our God was a simple process. Then he opened the session to questions from the audience. At first, no one raised a hand. He prompted the group, Come, don't hold back. This is important for your development, for your finding your God within." Finally, one brave soul raised his hand. He wanted to know about the risk of passing out if you held your breath too long. Another person wanted to know about the musical qualities of the om sound. I think she was one of the music majors. There were more than a few questions of this ilk. During this questioning phase, I could see from the corner of my eye that there was a bubbling up of suppressed communications going on among the inner circle of the Gillicards. A few seconds of silence passed after the guru had responded to the last question. Slowly, deliberately, the reported levitator, the leader of the Gillicards, raised his hand. "Yes," responded the enthusiastic guru. "I was just wondering," the levitator said in a slow, measured, and possibly professionally trained deep voice that contained a degree of sarcasm. "I was wondering if you have met your God within. If so, what was it like?" The Guru sprang from his seated position on the table and hurried to the front of the section the guild cards were sitting in, waving his finger back and forth as he rapidly spit out, "Don't you worry about my God within. You worry about your God within. You have no business worrying about my God within. You have business worrying about your God within. Your only business is your God within. You have no business worrying about my God within." Addressing the audience as a group, the Guru said, "Go, work on your breathing. Breathe in slowly and deeply. Then slowly release your breath with the Om sound. You will find your God within." With that pronouncement, he smiled at the audience, made a deep Guru-ish bow, briskly walked down the center of the aisle and out the front door. Even though years have passed, from time to time I find myself taking a deep breath and slowly exhaling as I make the Om sound.